It's time to play some stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Play Some Stuff. If you've been watching since the beginning, welcome back to MMO Generations 2015. I'm MultimediaJay, and welcome to Neverwinter, the descendant of the Neverwinter Nights series, so to speak, or the MMO free-to-play descendant of the Neverwinter Nights series. And here is Mr. Goodmane's counterpart for now, a Guardian fighter with the cleric, with Madame Lockhart as the NPC cleric as the follower. I'm tossing around the idea, though, this is actually my character from when Neverwinter first came out, and there weren't any paladins or any kind of, like, fighter healer type characters in the game yet. So, since then, the Oathbound Paladin has come out, so it can heal or tank. I'm thinking maybe have a heal, or maybe have a healer character and a tank character, or something like that. This here may be too difficult. Is this a place I could go to that won't be too... Well, it's been a while. Let's go, well, Black Lake District, Tower District, let's see here. Well, let's just go to the Black Lake District, just for the heck of it. So, the travel in this game is very similar to Neverwinter Nights 2, where you go to a world map and pick where you want to go. As far as MMOs go, this is a free-to-play one, and the limitations are basically, if you want more characters or something like that, you would have to come here as well. But I decided I had some serious problems with second-gen MMOs because I don't really have any. I have my Final Fantasy subscription, but that's about to run out. But Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, is actually a hybrid. It has some second-gen stuff and some third-gen stuff. So I think a more proper second-gen MMO would be something like this. So I didn't want to reactivate my WoW subscription. So then I remembered I still had this game sitting around on my hard drive from when I checked it out a while ago. So this is basically, well...
What do you know?
Now, I don't know if it has endgame content. I don't know if this has endgame... Well, not any, but I don't know if it has stuff like raids or anything, but basically the... What the... Well, it's multilingual, we know that. But this game actually has... it takes some getting used to. This is more action-based, hack-and-slash RPG type game, so... No. So... I'm fooling around in an easier area, just so I can talk and play without maybe dying or anything. But come on, this guy's a tank character to begin with, so... And he's got a healing cleric as his second follower type thing here. But anyways, so what makes a second-gen MMO? This game takes a lot of... ooh, yeah. How do we activate those things again? Right-click? Nope, that's something else. All right. I can't remember how to play this. It's been so long. I played this back when it first came out, and the game's changed a lot since then. So why don't we just talk about second-gen MMOs and what exactly makes them second-gen in the first place. So we've already covered first-gen MMOs with my experience with the original Neverwinter Nights. Now here we are in the Neverwinter MMO, basically talking about second-gen. Now what makes second-gen MMOs... Well, this is the thing. It's going to be really hard to explain second-gen MMOs because the way to describe them is they consist of World of Warcraft in their heyday and every game that wants to be like World of Warcraft. So, every game that wants to be like World of Warcraft in their heyday. So, a lot of the things that made WoW into the MMO powerhouse that it is today are what makes a good second-gen MMO. So, for example, you can solo to max level, you can quest to max level, and whereas the previous generation of MMOs had a lot of unorganized grinding that players just did on their own, basically going around killing monsters just for the heck of it to level up and stuff like that, if there's grinding in a second-gen MMO, it'll be a little more structured. There'll be quests behind it, cutscenes behind it, a story behind it. There'll be something behind it. And basically, if there's grinding at all, it's not going to feel as much like grinding as opposed to the old, well, I'm just going to go out hunting monsters and stuff like that, and that's going to be how I have most of my fun until I max level or I can get a dungeon group or I can go raiding or something along those lines. So, Kind of like what I'm doing now is I'm not really doing any quests. I'm already past this area in the game, so this is really just to get some video footage for a discussion of second-gen MMOs. But they're the hardest to talk about. They're the absolute hardest to talk about because literally you can just describe second-gen MMOs by saying World of Warcraft during its heyday. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a level 4 character. So I am, what, level 28? I am way, way out of my league, and I should probably go somewhere else. I think the, oh, I discovered a new campsite and a respawn point. So I've never been out here before. But, yeah. I gotta get back into this game at some point. The big issue I have with this game is that Guild Wars 2 does what this game does a lot better. And it's a lot more polished, but, excuse me, this game is free to play. Gotta pop in the mic here. This game is free to play, so if you're really low on cash and you want to get some MMO stuff going, this is one way to do it. I think it's on some of the consoles now, too, hence the more hack-and-slash interface to be more console-friendly. So, this character's a Guardian fighter. Now that I know about Oathbound Paladins, I might just, I might switch to an Oathbound Paladin tank or something like that, or just keep leveling as Guardian fighter here. I mean, it's not like I really play this game a lot anyways. I just happened to remember that it was still on my hard drive, so... Yeah, these are level 6s. They're way below my level. So this is kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid that I'm even here in the first place. We should probably switch maps. Go someplace that's not a dumpy part of the Neverwinter City. How the heck do we get out of here? Oh, yeah, let's follow the compass in the corner. So, basically, the way you define a second-gen MMO is if it's like World of Warcraft during its heyday, which had a lot of good things and it had a lot of bad things. The good things about second-gen MMOs was the emphasis on there was some options available for people that want to do stuff on their own when their friends weren't online. That's the important part. MMOs get their interesting bits, so to speak, or their interesting parts, or what makes them worth playing from the interaction with others. However, if you don't have a lot of friends or you just want to be alone for a bit, it shouldn't be an issue if you want to... Oh, let's go to Black Dagger Ruins. That's... The orcs are in there, I think. There used to be a module that I used to do that was in the woods somewhere. Let's see if this is closer to my... Oh, yeah, here we go. Our enemies shall feel divine wrath. Yeah, whatever, Madam Lockhart. Now an NPC. Actually, I do have an alt who's an Oathbound... I do also have as an alt as an Oathbound Paladin who's going to spec into healing. So now, if I re-roll this guy as a Paladin, he'll be a tank. Or I'll stay Guardian Fighter for now, just for the heck of it. Yeah, just for that nostalgia, I don't know. Or buy another character slot and do a rename token on this guy and give him another name. And have Goodmane start over as a Paladin, but as a Oathbound Paladin. But anyways. So yes, second-gen MMOs, they had their ups and downs. It was a little bit easier to get into these it was a little bit easier to do stuff on your own if you weren't constantly, oh yeah, this guy's closer to my level. It was a bit easier to do stuff on your own if you weren't constantly in a group with folks. But at the same time, there are issues as well. For example, server architecture as opposed to super shard, super server type stuff. That was something that was an issue for me. And, yeah, see, she's healing me like she's supposed to. I don't know if I should re-roll a Paladin if I can have a healer follow me around and... Yeah, anyways. Ooh, scroll of identification. I don't even know what half of this stuff is anymore because I haven't played this game in so long. But anyways, so yeah, it had its ups and downs, so to speak. Server architecture, yeah, I was talking about server architecture, wasn't I? Server architecture versus mega server architecture, the issues I've talked about with small servers versus large servers and things like that. I've largely encountered those in the second-gen MMOs. Third-gen, like Guild Wars 2 and whatnot, they have more mega server type architectures and things like that. Ooh, a tomb. Let's see here. Can you go in there? Oh yeah, there's just like a sub-dungeon inside this map where you fought a bunch of undeads or something like that. I've already gotten past this part in the game, so I'm just going to beat up some of these undeads. Oh, these console controls. I don't know, I think paladins can't fight while they're blocking with a shield like this, so... Alright. Cha-ching! Alright, that's that with that. Oh, she's getting hit by some of these undeads as well. I should get back into this game. It's pretty interesting anyways. Let's see here. She's casting heals and stuff. Yep, alright. But that's the thing. Server architecture, there are problems with high pop, low pop servers, things like that, as opposed to mega shards and super shards. That could be an issue as well. And the other big issue with second-gen MMOs was things like mob tagging systems, which would be things like mob tagging and stuff along those lines, which would encourage less cooperation, which is the irony, because MMOs originally differentiated themselves from single-player RPGs with the player involvement in the large groups of players, but then the evolution of the game was such that they would basically encourage people to be selfish. So you'd have a bunch of people in a map like this going around killing monsters and whatnot, but because of toxic behavior being encouraged by in-game systems like mob tagging systems, there'd be problems with people ultimately not cooperating. And it was this lack of cooperation that led to some of the issues with second-gen MMOs. Basically, ninja looting is a thing in second-gen MMOs. That's an easy way to identify it. If you can ninja loot, the odds are, because a lot of the newer games that have come out since then have reacted to ninja looting via things like personal loot systems and other stuff as well. But the mere ability to ninja loot will tell you that a game is dated. Anything that encourages, that either allows for or encourages selfishness among players instead of cooperation, unless they want to roleplay a selfish character or something like that. Anything that involves this sort of stuff is kind of a hallmark of a second-gen MMO. Once you get into third-gen, there are more options available, and you can actually be a goody two-shoe because you'll get some reward out of it. Might be a little bit unrealistic, so to speak, but in terms of how people behave online and stuff like that, it helps to solve a lot of problems. Oh, cool! More people coming into the tomb. Is this the way out? Oh yeah. It's been a while since I played this. The good news is I'm getting these decent load times on a mechanical drive, so not that bad, actually. I'm not running this off the SSD. And I actually, if you think the graphics suck, they do. It's a playable, free-to-play RPG if you want to get into this kind of stuff. And especially if you like the original Neverwinter Nights. It's not related to Neverwinter Nights, but this series, it's not related to Neverwinter Nights, but it kind of picks up where the old Neverwinter Nights games left off. So it's worth checking out, I'd say. If you don't have any money or anything, because Guild Wars 2 is buy to play, whereas this is free to play and stuff like that. But that's really it. So this game, as you can see, I have quests in the corner and stuff like that, and there's things like tagging systems and stuff like that. I almost forgot that this game was kind of sort of a second-gen MMO when I got into it. So it's good to know that I didn't have to get a subscription going on one of the other games in order to talk about second-gen MMOs. But that's really it. That's what made World of Warcraft into the powerhouse game that it is today, and the MMO standard that it is today is this whole thing with bringing back some element of individualism to the game, or to these games, and not so much forced socialization or forced interaction or something along those lines, or constantly having to depend on other people to get even the most rudimentary things done. Because that's one of the ways in which MMOs got away from what single-player RPGs were doing. You could play a single-player RPG, whether Western-influenced or Japanese-influenced, but you would feel like some hero who is actually making a difference in the world. Not so much with the MMOs, where you need people just to grind or something like that, and you can't really become this kind of legendary hero or something along those lines. So it's really says quite a bit about the whole second-gen MMO thing. Today I would consider second-gen MMOs to be outdated and probably not worth playing. And that's actually one of the reasons why I wound up canceling my Final Fantasy subscription, because there were too many elements like server queues and things like that. There are some elements of third-gen MMOs in Final Fantasy XIV, like outdoor events that you can randomly wander into, but unfortunately that's just... key got stuck. It's a brand new keyboard, too. Must be glitching because I'm using USB instead of... I've heard some people say PS2 keyboards can actually still be better at this stuff without getting a gaming keyboard because of the actual hardware interrupts, but that's kind of a Tech Syndicate thing. I'll leave that up to them to explain. They can probably explain it better than I can because I haven't really been paying much attention to that stuff. Oh, look at all these bandits. I hope she doesn't get taken out by it, but then again, she is a healer, so... And I'm supposed to be a tank, so let's do some tanking. Yeah! I keep forgetting Q, E, and R do stuff as well, so... I think that's the taunt in this game. She doesn't do much for damage, though, so I gotta make sure things don't hit her. So, but again, I'm supposed to be the tank here, so... Well, all this loot, and I'm not really gonna be doing much with it, so... Oh, well. But that's second-gen MMOs. You can still play a second-gen MMO, and you'll probably have fun playing it. You know, there won't be as much of an emphasis on mindless grinding as its predecessors. But unfortunately, the way things work nowadays, once you play a third-gen MMO and get into it like Guild Wars 2, you start noticing the lack of the more advanced features of the newer games when you try to go back to the older ones. And that causes problems like it caused for me as well. So it's definitely something to think about. All right, maybe someday I'll get back into this game and play me some more Neverwinter. But for now, I think I'm just going to stick to Guild Wars 2s. I got so much going on in that game right now with alts and things like that. Plus, you only get 2 character slots to start with. You have to pay real money to buy extra character slots. So I already have way more character slots and alts in Guild Wars 2 than I have in Neverwinter. Plus the whole Guardian Fighter versus Oathbound Paladin thing. Do I want to get rid of the Guardian Fighter or not? I'll still have to figure that out. Plus, this sidekick character, she's not available in the game anymore. So maybe for Legacy's sake, I should just keep playing this Guardian Fighter and have, or maybe take a break from playing Paladins for once and play more of a fighter-type character. Although fighters usually aren't my thing in these games. Don't know why, but alright. So that's the whole discussion on second-gen MMOs, and this game does have some of that going on with questing and being able to do some things yourself and things like that, and not having to grind to level up a decent amount. But, it's... This is definitely a game that is still worth playing to this day. This game is definitely worth playing, but when you play third-gen MMOs, you start noticing the shortcomings of the previous generation of these games. Also worth noting, I must constantly stress that this is all arbitrary stuff. It isn't all really set in stone too much. Some people think there's only 2 generations of MMOs. Some people think there's 4. I happen to be one of the ones that believes that there's 3. But at least when I throw in my 2 cents on this, I'll be explaining why exactly I think there are 3. Speaking of 3, I do believe it's time we start talking about some third-gen stuff like Guild Wars 2. So thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.